So let's listen in to Nitin Rakesh, Managing Director and CEO of Motilal Oswal, who sees the Indian markets recovering in the second half of the year and also sees consumer growth story being intact. He's betting on banks, autos from the valuation perspective. Let's listen in.
Given the current level of crude oil prices, I think that's probably in the price already. Unless we see another shock and the prices going up another 5-10%, I think the market has accepted the current levels of crude oil. But having said that, I think we still have to work through a few issues on the macro front, more importantly inflation and interest rates. And I think till we see a peak in the inflation cycle or the interest rate cycle, I think we may find it tough to beat the 2010 highs. I think we have a good chance that towards the second half of this year we might see the market recover a lot more than it has. But as I said, I think we have to have the next trigger in place. Clearly the short-term trigger seems to be the March quarter ending earnings cycle. I think the consumption story is still pretty intact and probably the most exciting part of the Indian investment opportunity. I mean, we have an unprecedented boom in consumption driven by the growth in GDP, the growth in consumer discretionary spending power. So our view is that every aspect of discretionary spending will actually continue to see a very robust rise as we go from a 3 or 4 trillion dollars in GDP to almost 3.5-4 trillion, and I think that's really going to be the biggest exciting part of the India opportunity. The issue is you can never buy it cheap, and I think that's really what's holding back a lot of investors. Is the fear whether we are overvalued, and I think as the market gives opportunities, we will see people get in and snap those names up. I think when you're looking at investing in India, you have to consider investing in the opportunity that is given by the Indian banking sector, and I think that continues to be one of our most favored sector picks in terms of the opportunity that it has, because it actually has a multiplier on the Indian economic growth. From a valuation point of view, things like the consumption space, the two-wheeler space. Again, the global growth has also meant that the IT sector has been well positioned, even though it's not as cheap as we would like it to be. But I think those really are our top sectors.
All right, that's Nitin Rakesh's view on the Indian market.